Okay, well, welcome everyone to our August Start Now. I love these trainings. I still plug in as a VP because I always hear something that, every time I hear a little something that helps my business. So congratulations on, if you're new, on starting your business. I know that that's an exciting time and sometimes a little nerve-wracking time, but you're definitely in awesome hands with whoever your sponsor or mentor is, because we are just blessed with an awesome team of leaders in our success line. So my goal today or tonight is really just to guide you on the steps it takes to be as successful as possible in this business. And we have the most successful success line in Arbonne for a reason, and it's because we have a system. And I'm just going to run through all the steps of that system. I will have time at the end for questions, but I will just kind of run through this. So if you do have questions, just jot them down as I go, and I'm happy to answer those at the end when we go through everything. So I mentioned that I did email the VPs the link for the Start Now Top 10, but if I did it this morning, so if they didn't get it out, you can look on the Facebook pages. I just posted it there. It's the Kalmbach Success Line Top 10. And I'm just going to kind of run through those, but I'm going to expand on each of them a little and just a lot on how I've used it in my business as well. So I want to make sure we're all, I'm just going to actually mute. If I can mute everyone. Hold on here, guys. Okay. I think we're good. If you have background noise, I think you mute yourself, but can't see how to mute. Here we go. Sorry about that. It's not letting me mute everyone. If you do have background noise, mute yourself. Otherwise, most of you are quiet anyway. So number one on there when you start your business, if you have started, if you've already launched, you've likely started or scheduled your back-to-back launch parties. So we usually recommend doing 2 and sometimes 3 of these. And the reason being is you want to be able to catch as many people as possible. So I usually recommend to my new people that they schedule them on like a Thursday and a Sunday so that they give people 2 options to come. A lot of times I like to do a weekday and a weekend. That way if sometimes weekends just don't work for people, weekdays are easier. But when I look back when I did it on Sunday of one week and then Saturday of the following week. So look at your schedule and what works for you. A lot of times we recommend doing those 2 at the beginning or right when you get started, and then maybe a 3rd kind of catch-all at the end of your 1st or 2nd month, depending on when you start your business. That way, as we go through some of the other stuff and you're asking for people to host parties, and if they can't host parties, you can invite them to that 3rd launch party. As a side note, if you have been doing this business for a while, for the first mini year or 2, and sometimes even now, I'll put a party at the end of my month. That way, again, if I'm asking people for parties and they can't host, I say, well, why don't you see if you can come to this party I'm hosting at my house? Does that make sense to everyone? So you book your 2 launch parties with your sponsor. You want to make sure that they can attend those. That's where you are going to sit and do a lot of the learning. They're going to kind of run the show. That was another thing I was surprised at when I started this business. I was shocked that Megan was going to do the party for me. And it is a lot of learning on the go. So you get to sit back and kind of watch your sponsor run the show before you get to do your own when you start doing your parties after that. The next thing on there is to send paper invites and a cover letter to your guest. This is really important. So many of you know how bombarded with emails we are these days, right? I myself, I don't know, I probably get 100+ a day I've had this email a long time. It's for my other business that I do a little of, and then I get a lot of Arbonne emails, and then other emails, and then junk email. So it's really easy to overlook an email. And even if you see it sometimes, it can get lost in the shuffle as far as when that date was and to go back to it. If you receive an invite for something in the mail, it likely gets a lot more attention because I don't know about you, but just about everything I receive in the mail is either a bill or junk mail. So it's always exciting to get something that is not that's an actual invite or something. That's why I love the holidays, is all the Christmas cards that come. But if you send something in the mail, they're much more likely to put it up on their refrigerator or take note of it. You also, a year or so ago, I had my new consultant start writing a cover letter. And your consultant, your sponsor, can help you with that. We have some samples, but the cover letter is basically to give your guests a little insight as to why you decided to do this, and to also address some of the hesitations that you may have and that they may be having. A lot of those cover letters say, you know, I'm super excited. I'm starting this business because of XYZ. It's something I never saw myself doing because of, but I found that, and I'm really excited to get launched, and I'd appreciate your support. So we do have samples. I always tell my new consultants to make it their own, but the guide is a great sample. So you want to send that cover letter along with it. And then third is to make personalized follow-up calls to each individual to share your excitement and to remove the pressure. So this is a super important part. If you can find the time to reach out to each person that you invited, it will make a world of difference. It makes a huge difference to hear the excitement in someone's voice, to let them know you're just excited to see them, for them to learn more. There's no pressure to buy, and it's just going to be a fun night for them to learn a little bit more about what you're doing. They have some sample, you know, a little sample verbiage on there. I'm excited to see you tomorrow at 6:30 at my house and raise a glass to celebrate. So do practice. You know, so much of our verbiage comes across in how it sounds and how you ask it. So if you're nervous about it, even call your sponsor, and that's what they're there for, and run it by them a couple of times. So you have your back-to-back parties launched or sent out. You have all the invites sent out. So the next step is to get into activity. This is the most important step of getting started with your business. So if you're on this call, you likely are serious about running a successful Arbonne business. And I will tell you that there's nothing in Arbonne that activity cannot fix. So whether you're new to the game, whether you're watching this start now for the upteenth time, booking your calendar is going to lead to big things in this business. So when you first start, we have you write down what we call your 100-person name list. I always tell my new people, you know, whether it's basically a list of everyone you know, whether that's 30 or whether that's 200, the number doesn't really matter. It's just to not prejudge and to write them all down. So you're going to write a name of everyone that comes to mind. You want to think of acquaintances, neighbors, relatives, friends, coworkers. You see the list there: school, parents, significant others, circle of friends, kids' friends. Yeah, and I love this. Do not burn out your family and friends with mass email or Facebook messages. Those don't work, and basically you're turning people off. I don't know, I've received some myself. I know that there's other businesses that do a little more online marketing, and I've actually had people tell me that they really appreciate Arbonne for not doing as much as that Facebook push as far as bombarding their friends with messages and joining parties and that type of thing and joining groups. This business is built, and if you've heard my opportunity, I always say I don't consider myself a salesperson at all. I consider myself a relationship builder, and this business is really built on relationships and building those relationships one conversation at a time, one person at a time. So please pick up the phone, stay away from the mass reach out, stay away, you know, if you don't have someone's phone number, what I usually recommend is sending them a quick Facebook message and say, hey, I have a quick question for you. I usually write, hey, I have a quick question I want to run by you. Can you message me your phone number? And 9 times out of 10, they'll send me their phone number. That's even worked for people I haven't talked to in years. So if you need a phone number, definitely just send them a quick message, but don't send them some lengthy invite or, you know, especially about asking about the business or asking them to host a party or asking them to even come to your party. We have verbiage, it's works, and so use the verbiage. I believe it's in here on this sheet and this handout. I know that a lot of the VPs do offer little practice sessions via Zoom. I can guarantee that your sponsor or your upline is happy to practice verbiage with you. I always tell my new people that after we practice, if they're making a few calls and they're getting no's, if they get 4 or 5 no's, to call me right away, because there's likely something that I can tweak in their verbiage to start getting some yeses. So do practice the verbiage. It's proven. It goes a little something, I'll tell you kind of how it would sound. So I'll run through it real quick. So I'll just say, hi, Megan, this is Brooke calling. Pause to let them to respond. So I love this part. We changed this up, but I'm so glad I caught you. I only have a quick minute. The reason I'm calling, I am just super excited. I started a business with Arbonne and I need your help. I found a way to replace my debt and, still replace the income from my promotional products job and still be home with my kiddos. I'm in my training month and I've really been challenged to get 6 to 10 get-togethers on my calendar in the first 30 days. I was racking my brain to think of who might be willing to help me out, and I thought of you. It's super simple. You get 2 to 6 friends together. I'll send out the invite to make it easy on you. You get some free products for helping me out. What do you think? Can you help me out? So practice that. And the more you practice it, the more natural it'll come off your lips. I always tell almost every, what's the word I'm thinking of? Any reason for not hosting that you get, any objection, sorry, my mind is going, any objection you get when you start, especially if you're new, you can almost always say, that's okay. I'm really just looking to get in front of people and practice my script. So whether they say, I just usually, my friends, don't buy those things. That's okay. I'm really just to look to get in front of people and practice my script. I've had people say, I don't like to ask my friends to buy things. I can even put, I've done this, leave your wallets at home. And I'm really just looking to get in front of people and practice my script. I have put that on an invite and people still buy. So if you do get that objection, definitely just tell them, no worries, I can put that on the invite. If they say they don't know many people, well, that's perfect, because Arbonne, 2 to 6 people is our average size. And again, I'm just looking to get in front of people and practice my script. So if you're new, definitely that's a fallback for almost any objection that you may get. And you can go through, there's some different fallback options. If they can't host, then again, go back to inviting them to your backup party that you're doing at the end of the month. You want to have 6+ shows hosted by friends and family with 2 or more guests in your first 30 to 60 days. This is your training time with your upline, and this is really going to get you off to the best start, and this is going to get you to district manager as well. So really work on booking your calendar as much as possible. I would even say shoot for 8 to 10. So plug into our system for success and be coachable. I know that sometimes it's outside our comfort zone on making that phone call, but what I've learned is when you actually make the call and don't die, it's a lot easier than you may think. So, a no, I always tell my people too, that if you get a no from someone, your position hasn't changed at all. But if you don't ask, then you never know if it could have been a yes in a party that changes your whole business. Okay. So that's number 2, get into activity. Number 3, duplication. So this business is fun to do by yourself, but it's obviously a lot more fun when you have a team of people. So we'd love for you to reach out to 20+ people about the business. Again, we have verbiage on this as well. And to set up business meetings with your upline. Again, this is training with them, so I would aim to set up 4 to 6 business appointments with your upline in the first 30 to 60 days. And when you're getting started, there's, again, there's verbiage on this handout. Let's see here. We have it on this one. Looking at what the verbiage is. So, okay. So, hey, Liz, I'll kind of run through this. I'm so glad I caught you. I only have a minute. The reason I'm calling, I'm starting my own business with Arbonne, and I'm super excited because I found a way to replace my income and still stay home with my kids. Crazy, right? Let's see. I was putting in my own why. So, okay, so let me back up here. So it says here to break the ice and be vulnerable. When you're asking about the business, sometimes I've even said, hey, like if I was calling Liz, I'd say, hey, Liz, so you're going to think this is totally out of left field. Or you might think I've totally gone off my rocker. But I found a way I've started my business with Arbonne, and I found a way to replace my income still be home with my kids and really allow my husband some time flexibility as well. It doesn't sound possible, right? And this is where you might think I've lost my mind, but the people that I've seen that are great at this business are great at what they do, fun to be around, and you keep coming to mind in all of those areas. I have no idea if this is a fit for you, but I'm really excited to share it with you. I thought of sharing the opportunity right away because of what I said before. Sorry, I'm running around this. You guys are probably like, see, anyone can do this. I'm using some of my own verbiage and the verbiage on here. But make sure you compliment them. I think the key parts are to compliment them. Let them know that you might think they might think you're crazy, and that's okay. And you don't know if it's a fit for them or not, but you would love for them to hear more. I recommend for sure just chatting with or practicing with your upline before you make the calls, and really, ask them, if I sent you a Discover Arbonne call, would you listen to it? Stop talking. That's part of it. Just let them answer. Great. Set up a time, say, hey, can we get together for coffee on XYZ date? After that, would you have a chance to listen so that we can go over what you had a chance to listen to? Again, you can use the practicing and getting training. Tell my new people, just tell them that it helps you to learn more about how to talk about the business if they can just sit down with your upline and hear a little bit more as well. So I've had people on my team who the people originally didn't think they were interested, but they agreed to sit down for coffee because it would help them, help the person learn a little bit more about how to do the business. And then they found out they were more intrigued than they thought. So you definitely want your upline there with you at those first meetings. So definitely coordinate with them. If they're out of town, make sure they can be on Zoom with you or on a phone call with you, because talking about the business takes time, and it's much easier for them to hear from someone who's done it for a little bit longer and has a little bit more experience than you, and you'll learn how to do it, how to do those meetings as well. And it's part of your training, so take advantage of that. Number 4, order your business tools. So you do need products to do this business, right? It is a business. If you were to start any other type of business, you would have to make an investment of some sort. I love that in Arbonne, our investment is minimal. They're products that you're going to be using regardless. So your initial order should be for your tester sets, your hostess gifts and catalogs. We have some suggested startup packages. Talk to your upline about what makes most sense for you. But you also want to Arbonnize your home. So if you're currently using something that Arbonne makes, you definitely want to start using Arbonne's product. Your best testimonials will come from your own personal use. And it's great when people are, like looking around your house and they're like, oh, she's really serious about this. She uses all these products and she loves them. So you definitely want to be a product of the product. And a great part about all of our tools is they are a tax write-off. So anything that you buy to start your business becomes a tax write-off. Most people make more in their tax refund than it takes to their tax write-offs than it takes to start this business, which is awesome. And our goal is always to get you paid back on that investment in the first 2 to 4 months. And if you're following our system and being coachable and doing the work, you will get paid on that investment fairly quickly. But it is a business, so you need to treat it like a business and make sure that you get your tools. They're a huge part of being successful. You can't do this business without product. That's what I'll say on that. So let's see. So develop your why and write your I story. So we have the whole developing your why handout. Hold on here. Let's see, mute here. Why is it not letting me mute people? Oh, there it is. Okay. So developing your why. So your why at your party is a huge part of your success in this business and really attracting new business builders to your business. So you want to spend a good amount of time on writing that down, practicing saying it, and running it by your upline as well. Your upline is happy to help you write this. You should definitely send them a copy once you've written it down. If you have not written your why down, and it doesn't matter where you are in your business. You know, I know people who it took a year to write down their why for their parties, but write it down and send it to your upline. There is some guides on developing your why. Basically, you want to include how you were first introduced to Arbonne, what you thought of it when you were first introduced, what made you seriously consider the business, what were your hesitations and fears, what was your turning point, how have you already benefited from your business, and what are you ultimately going to where are you ultimately going with your business, your goals, and what you see Arbonne doing for your life. You can definitely include some of your upline stories in that. I still include a couple of my upline stories in this story. So it's a huge part of your business. We did a training on it, gosh, a few months back, or in July, on developing your why. So you can run back through the Facebook page and pull that up and read on that a little bit more. But it is a huge part of really finding new business builders at your party. Let's see. The launch cover letter that you wrote with your invitations, with your launch invitations, is a great place to start with that why presentation. So that can be transformed into your story, but spend some time on that for sure. Number 6 is plug in. So you definitely want to attend all nations. I have been doing this for 4.5 years, and I've missed one nation in that 4.5 years. So you want to make that a priority. You know, if you were an employee at a company, consider it like your mandatory staff meeting that you have to be at. So put all the dates on your calendars, the monthly nation meetings, the global training conference that's going to be held in April. Gosh, I think it's the 20th. I have it on my calendar, but I don't know the date off my head. But you want to put that down now. They will be announcing probably registration for that in the next couple of months. That is a game changer. You will want to attend no matter what. Retreats, day trainings, car presentations, opportunity breakfasts, Discover Arbonne meetings, Start Now trainings. Kudos to all of you for being on tonight. But plug in. I can tell you that when you're in this business long enough, you'll know that it's not always easy. There's ups and downs. Like any business, I always say, you know, we think success is like this when really it's squiggly all over the board. But if you're staying plugged in and you're feeding your mind the right things, you'll stay committed and you'll stay the course. And you'll learn that others are going through your challenges, and you'll learn how to push through them. So plug into those no matter what. Bring guests to as many things as possible. I always try and leverage my time. If you're going to be at a Discover Arbonne event or a nation meeting, bring as many guests as you can. You're already going to be there. Make it an income-producing activity by bringing a potential business builder. They always say that not everyone at the meetings drives a white Mercedes, but everyone who drives a white Mercedes is at the meeting. So you definitely want to be at as many events as possible. These are for learning, recharging, sharing this business with potential business builders. So use events to build big. I always say, you know, even when I didn't have a guest, if I had it scheduled to go to a Discover Arbonne or to go to an opportunity breakfast, I would still go. And you might say, why? I've heard that story. I've heard her story so many times. Well, you want to get to the point where if I were to keel over at the front of the room, you could pick up where I left off and finish my story. Plus, you're going to hear a little tidbit different each and every time. And we always say that if you don't feel like you need the meeting needs you. Let's see, I'm going to mess this up. So if you're feeling down about your business, you need the meeting. And if you're feeling up about your business, the meeting needs you. So you need to be there regardless and get the most out of it and to make the most out of your business. So definitely plug in. And who wouldn't want to? They're fun events, right? You're surrounded by just amazing, inspiring people. Okay. The dates for all of our events are on jennykrombach.com, password Team Krombach. I don't know if Megan Luna, I think she has them on our Facebook page as well. If not, yeah, I know that she has the dates on there. So they are ready through the end of the year. So get those all down now and make sure that you attend as many as possible. Okay. Become goal-oriented. So we're closing. We have about a week left or so in this month, which is, gosh, a ton of time in Arbonne time. So whatever goals you set out for yourself at the beginning of this month, they're absolutely achievable. So definitely, if you feeling a little lost on where you set out, get with your upline and they'll map it out. I've seen people, do 6,000 in this last week of the month. There's been people who went into qual for area, in a matter of a few days. So anything can really happen at this point, but it does take picking up the phone and getting into some activity. So definitely reach out to your upline if whatever goals you set out for the beginning of this month. If you're feeling a little off on those, if you're feeling right on them, great, keep at it. But that's become goal-oriented. So we have the monthly goal sheet, and it's there for a reason. I still fill this out every month, and I'll go over it with Megan. It's a great place to see what activity you have currently, where your gaps are, people that you're following up with, people that you're reaching out to. It's all in one place. So definitely fill that out every single month within the first few days and make time with your upline to go through that goal sheet and map it out. Write them down, look at them daily, say them out loud. If you're doing the Miracle Morning, definitely include them in your affirmations and look at those goals daily. If you're not doing the Miracle Morning, start and do that because it's making a big difference with all the people who are. And you can break your goals down into weekly goals and in daily action items. Let's see. Okay. And I'll talk on that a little bit in a minute, but writing your action items down the night before makes a big difference as well. So definitely write your goals down, look at them daily, and spend time with your upline going over what your goals are and how you can get to the next level. Personal growth and development. Mind your mind, right? This business is so much what goes on between our ears, and keeping track of your mindset is it's probably one of the most important parts of seeing success in this business. Let's see, in the Mind Your Mind handout, so I'll go through it in a minute, but this is a business that you must grow yourself to really see success. And if you were like me and really didn't think you needed a lot of growth, then you probably need it more than most. So just from someone who felt that way. Invest in yourself daily through reading, listening to Learning Bird, SoundClouds, reading INR bonds, and surround yourself with positive, optimistic, supportive people. You are the equivalent of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So really look at the people you're surrounding yourself with. If you have negative energy and negative people around you, that will take a toll on you, not only in Arbonne, but your life. So spend some time and make sure that you're spending your time with optimistic, uplifting, inspiring people. And it will have make such a difference on not only your mindset for Arbonne, but your entire life. And take advantage of this mentorship and coaching we have available with Arbonne. Definitely, if you are struggling with something, plug in to or reach out to your upline. That's what they're here for. If you're struggling, they've likely been through whatever it is that you're struggling with. So I'm going to kind of go back to this Mind Your Mind handout. You can look through this a little bit more on your own, but how to handle rejection. It's kind of a yucky part of this business is we get rejected, but don't take it personally. At the bottom there, it says, we are paid to hear the word no. So the only difference between me and you guys there or on the call is that I've probably heard more no's than you have. So, if you have a day that's full of no's, you're like, yes, I am that much closer to getting that Mercedes. But it is not a personal thing when someone tells you no. It's just an answer, and that's it. You have to detach yourself from the emotions and really just focus on the activity. I love how Jenny says, every call you make is just practice. you can still do this. It's just practice for Arbonne. The outcome does not matter. You are just practicing on how to get better at this business. And you're planting seeds. You know, a lot of them will not come to fruition right off. It's going to take time for them to grow and develop. A handful of us, you know, find some runners right out of the gate. You know, when I look at the people on my team, Jacqueline, I asked her to come to an event for a year before she came. And now she's one of my awesome leaders on my team. So, you know, you never know when the right time is going to be for someone. So definitely, you know, plant that seed, and when they're ready, it will harvest. Manage your expectations. You need to give yourself time to build a strong foundation in this business. You know, I tell my team members that they really need to commit to 2 years in this business of really working it. You know, if you started any sort of business, it's going to take time to grow and develop, and you need to lay that foundation, and it will grow, you know, quickly. 2 years to get to regional vice president is a relatively short period of time, but you need to be willing to do the consistent work and the activity and work on the mindset as well. Get rid of the mindset that you're trading hours for dollars. This business, you're building a team and a network that will pay you for a lifetime. So in Arbonne, a lot of times it looks like this. When you first start, you're spending a lot of time on this business, and your paycheck, you know, I think my first paycheck was like, I don't know, $100 or something. And I felt like I was spending a lot of time. I know that I remember Tara's paycheck, I think she was like $17 or something. You think that matters to her now? If you don't know Tara Brandsma, she's one of the top income earners in the company, and she's in our upline. But when you start this business, you're going to be working, there's 3 phases, I say. You're going to be working a lot more than you're being paid. You're going to say, wow, I just feel like I'm working so much more than I'm being paid. Then you get to a point where you're like, I'm getting paid, you know, about what I'm working. This is pretty awesome. You know, I'm working this amount of time, and I'm getting paid what I'm worth. And then you get to a point where you're like, wow, I am being paid way more than I'm working. And that's an awesome place to be. And that will happen in this business. I love the quote that 95% of the people who start join a network marketing company with a great consumable product will be at the top of that business within a 10-year time frame. So are you willing to stick it out? Don't quit, and give it enough time to work. In Arbonne, it's actually the average is lower. Make sure your goals match the amount of time and effort you are willing to put into this business. I'll be honest here and a little vulnerable. When I started, I told Tara and Megan that, you know, really what I could do was 4 to 5 parties a month. That's where I was at when I started. That's what I could put in. And Tara said, that's fine, it's your business, but you will promote at a slower pace. And I did. You know, it took me 3 years to get to regional vice president, but it was about a year into my business that I said, you know, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the way we're taught and trained, and do it all out. And it was, if you've heard me train on this part of my story, I did not do 8 parties until about a year and a half into my business. I had never done 8 parties in a month. And I love the quote, you know, at some other trainings I've said, you know, how many months have each of you, done 8 parties in 1 month? Whatever that number is, that's how many months you've been in Arbonne. So really, if you take the time to commit and do it consistently, and it's 2 shifts a week, if you stay consistent with that, you will earn your Mercedes in about a year's time. So it's up to you. You can go at a slower pace or a faster pace, but it's all based on your activity, and that's where the only variable in this. So book your calendar for sure, and make sure that your goals, you know, if you can't do as many parties as the 8 that we suggest, then just know that your promotion is going to be on a little slower pace. On the opposite end, if you really want to speed it up, go for, you know, 10, 12, and your promotions will be faster. Don't compare yourself with others. It's your journey for a reason. All of our journeys are going to look a little different, and that's okay. Try and enjoy it, because this business is fun, and it's awesome people, and you get to, you know, really it's an awesome business if you let it be. So have fun with it. Enjoy the journey. You know, if it's not going at the speed that you want, or there's been some setbacks, don't worry about those, and know that you're just going to be able to train someone on your team about those down the line. Any setback that I have, any challenge that I have, I just know that I'm going to be able to help someone else get through that challenge a little more smoothly than I did. So really kind of embrace your journey and what it means to you. You'll get there if you keep working consistently. Be coachable. That's a huge part. This is a turnkey, duplicatable system if you just plug into it. Learn the system and follow it. Focus on personal growth and development. Focus on team building and consistency. Listen to your upline and never, ever, ever give up. Know what you're paid to do. I mentioned this. You're paid to hear the word no. A no's good. If you want to change your mindset on it, you can even say, you know, today I'm going to make 5 phone calls until I get 5 no's. It's funny when you do that. Sorry about that. That you'll start getting some yeses. You're like, oh, great, I got a yes. But now I have to keep calling because I haven't gotten a no. So that's another way you can kind of flip the mindset on that. You're really paid to persevere in this business. Think about that. You're working hard today for the big payoff in a few years. I think we've all heard the quote that entrepreneurship or network marketing or Arbonne, however you want to phrase it, is working a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So just know that you're making progress and you're doing that daily activity, and if you stay consistent with that, it will pay off. Okay, so back to the sheet. So number 9, schedule your work time. So this is hugely important, and this was a big shift for me, gosh, a couple of years back. So you want to start your day the night before and write down the list of everyone that you're going to call the next day. So I usually recommend to my team they write down 5 names of people that they're going to call the next day. I find even to this day, if there's a night that I don't spend the time to write those 5 names down, the calls don't always get made at all. It's because I don't know who I'm calling. I don't know why I'm calling them. So I'm just glancing through my list through names, and I don't have a rhyme or reason about a real strategy about why I'm calling. When I spend some time the night before, and it doesn't have to be long, it's 10 minutes or so, and I go through who I'm going to call and why I'm going to call each person, it gives you a schedule for the next day. It gives you some direction on who you're going to call. And you can really, there's a couple of ways you can do this. I personally, I just kind of fill it in when I have openings throughout my day. So if I have 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there, I'll make a phone call. I know that Jenny has done some power hours or power half hours in the past where she schedules that time and she just sits and makes calls solid for that period of time. Whatever works best for you, the important part is that you are scheduling time to make those 5 reach outs per day. So this is a business that you can do part-time, but not sometime, right? You need to treat your business like a business, and it will pay you like a business. You know, if you really treat this like a hobby and you're like, oh, I'll do it here or there, you'll end up paying it like a hobby. So definitely make the time to schedule your time for Arbonne and make those phone calls. Consistency is key here. So it's a little bit each day. The Slight Edge was a great book that I read once, but it really shows you just how a little consistent effort every day will pay off big time in the long run. So we're either growing or we're declining in life. So if you're either growing and doing something each day to help grow your life, or you're steadily declining. So make sure that you are doing something every day to help grow your business and develop the habit of working this business into the nooks and crannies of your day. As far as parties and such too, I write at the beginning of the month, I'll put everything on my calendar, all the non-negotiables for my family on my calendar, or on non-negotiables for my life on my calendar, and then I really work Arbonne in around those times. So that is one of the beautiful parts of this business is, you know, in your regular job, you basically work your life around your job, but with Arbonne, you get to put your life down first, and then you work Arbonne into the nooks and crannies of that, which is super awesome. And lastly, number 10, follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Your intention with follow-up is to schedule your next meeting at the current meeting. So if you are meeting with someone on the business or doing a phone call or doing a Zoom, you want to schedule the next course of action at that meeting. So a couple of different follow-up guidelines as well. So a business follow-up, when you give someone information on the business, you want to schedule a follow-up within 24 hours. Ideally, it's best to do a face-to-face meeting, either at an event or coffee, whichever comes first. But you know, if they're excited about this, don't give them time. Well, you want to keep that excitement going. And the longer that you leave between handing out the information and following up, the more time you give them for doubt and fear to creep into their mind. They might talk to a dream stealer. If you do follow up with someone, just as a guideline, and somehow they've changed their tune, or they say they're not interested, a lot of times I'll say, I know you were super excited about this when we chatted on XYZ date. What changed between now and then? And that way you can kind of get a little insight into what their mindset is and what may have changed. Can you always overcome it? No, but it will give you some guidance on if there has been a switch in their mindset there. But the sooner you can get that follow-up, the better. The fortune is in the follow-up. If you're doing customer follow-up, you want to give them a call within 2 days of the show. Everyone gets a call, whether they bought something or not. Thank them for their order and let them know it's on their way. Or just check in and see if they had a chance to look at the catalog and see what they're thinking, and take their order, schedule a show, revisit the business, etc. And let them know when you plan to call next. So a lot of times, if it's someone I'm following up with that's ordered a product, I'll say, I'll give you a call back in a couple of weeks to make sure you received everything and that you had a chance to, and see if you have any questions on the product. Even if they, didn't buy something, I'll say, hey, is it okay if I just check in a few months just to tell you about any new promotions or freebies we have? Or I'll say, I'll give you a call in a few months just to keep you updated on everything, on the new stuff we have going. Right now is a great time to be reaching out to people about the holiday items that are coming out next month. And I'm sure we'll be doing some more training on that coming up here. 1 to 2 weeks after they get the order, you want to make sure they receive the products, that they're using them. You'd be shocked sometimes how many people don't even take them out of the package right when they get them, or they're not sure exactly how to use them. So definitely want to give them a call and make sure they're using the products. If they have any questions, it's great to revisit the business hosting referrals, even back to the business. So, at parties, you need to be asking every single person about the business. It's a huge, important piece of our trifecta close. If you are not asking people about every single person at that party to take a look at the business, you are really wasting your time at that party. So I've learned that I'm not a great mind reader. So, there's people that I thought would never, ever say yes, they are interested in the business, and they are. And then people I think, oh, they'll definitely be interested, and they're not. So ask everyone, again, give them a compliment. You were so fun, tonight at the party. You obviously are great with people. You'd be awesome at what I do. If I gave you some information, would you look over it and meet me for coffee? So, or if I texted you a call, would you listen to it? So you can definitely follow up there. If they say no, and I love Dr. Laura Fortner, she's an MVP that does this, but if there's someone that you met at that party and they're just, really sticking in your mind, you're like, gosh, they'd just be great at this business. If they've given you a no, it's okay to call them back in a couple of days, a day or two, and say, I know that I asked you about the business of the party, and I know you told me no, but I just cannot get you off my mind. Is there any way you'd reconsider and just meet me for a cup of coffee to learn a little bit more? It's crazy, the statistics of the people. I don't know the exact statistic, but they will say yes, asked on the second time. So don't be afraid to ask someone again if they were an original no and there's someone that you just really think would be great at this business. Every 2 months or so, you want to give a quick courtesy call just to let everyone know if they have preferred rewards. Feel free to leave voicemails, you will, about the product. Check in, share what's new. revisit the business, hosting referrals, build relationships and rapport. The voicemails on the follow-up is great. On a side note, I didn't mention this on the beginning, but if you are calling someone to ask to host a party, don't leave a lengthy voicemail. Just say, hey, it's Brooke. I'm super excited. I have a quick question for you. Give me a call when you get a chance. Leave that short and sweet. And that's on the business asked too. Don't leave that in a lengthy message, but it's definitely fine for the business follow-up to leave a quick message. So that is our top 10. The last sheet is again on Minding Your Mind. I didn't go over all those, but there's some great books on that list. Gosh, now I'm there in that GoPro. You do get that when you go district, but there are little recordings that Jenny did on her website as well that go along with each chapter of that book for the GoPro as well. So definitely, if you have that book and haven't had a chance to read through it and listen to those, do that ASAP as well. But you guys we're all coming into our biggest time of the year is holiday. I mentioned that before. They'll be launching holiday next month. You can see it. It's on. You can see the brochure on the source. It's awesome, that whole holiday line this year. I'm super excited to get my hands on it. So you definitely want to be booking your calendar as much as you can. There's so many people that join the business during this next few months. So definitely, our nation meeting is next week. As you're making your calls this week, you want to make sure you're asking every single person, if they can come to Nation with you or meet for coffee, if they'll listen to a call, because this is the time of year that people are looking to get together again. Everyone's getting back into a little bit of a schedule from the summer craziness. People are looking to schedule get-togethers a little more. As the holidays get near, people love to get together and have little parties. People are looking for extra money as the holidays get closer as well. So this is our best time of year. So definitely, capitalize on that and make sure you have activity booked. So I am going to unmute everyone. Well, actually, you can unmute yourself. If I unmute everyone, I might have some loud people. I'm happy to take any questions from anyone. Anyone have any questions?
I do. Hi, it's Jane.
Hi, Jane. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I do have a question. So, and it will be really fresh. We're meeting with a new business builder tomorrow, someone who's joining Arbonne. There's been about 3 or 4 days in between.
Okay.
The objections. Could you go over really quick if there's an objection about the start packages or finances, like to start your business? Can you go over some objections just real quick for me?
Right. So, you're just to your question is that you're meeting with a new business builder, and she's going to be signing up, and if she has some objections on just the start packages and investing in her business, correct? Right. Okay. Yeah. So, I tell people, I at first acknowledge, their hesitation. I say, I get, it is an investment. It is, it may be a little more than you're comfortable, investing. But I say at the same time, you are starting a business. And no matter what business you were to go into, you would have to make some sort of investment. It's just, there's no possibility of starting a business without making some sort of an investment. If you do, you don't have a business, right? So I say, these are our guideline. We have packages that we suggest, and all of the packages are there for a reason. I run through each of the packages, especially like in the essentials, what each of those products is for and what we use them for in our business. So that way they have a sense of, I'm not just asking them to buy products, I'm telling them why they need 2 tester sets, why they need a makeup primer, why they need the sea salt scrub. I always tell them my goal is for them to be successful in this business. Obviously, I don't want them to buy a bunch of product and, not have success with this business. So I run through what each of the products are. I go through all 3 packages. I don't really prejudge which one they may be at. And what I usually do is I say, these are our suggested startup packages. There is not a enter A, enter B, enter C. They can be kind of guided to your specific situation, but I usually tell them to find a number that they're comfortable investing and I can guide them to the best products for their budget. However, I do tell them it is difficult to start a business for less than that minimum package and be successful. And I also share with them that really my goal is to have them make that investment back in the first couple of months, 2 to 3 months. I know occasionally I've had people who, you know, they don't have the investment for that smaller package. They can only buy maybe one RE9 set, but I do tell them that they cannot get away with starting with less than an RE9 set, the makeup primer, the sea salt scrub, the protein, and that they're going to have to extra book. You can build it up with sweat equity, but you will have to book your calendar extra and reinvest that paycheck. And I do share with them that the vast majority of people that have started with me in the last 4 years, if they have not started with one of those startup packages, they have really not seen success with this business. Does that help, Jane?
It does, because I think over the 4 days that might be the objection. So it was great to hear your take on it in case that comes for us tomorrow. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I would tell her too, you know, and I've been telling everyone too, this time of year, it is the best time of year. Like if you were to handpick a time of year to get started with Arbonne, this would be it. So, you know, I would encourage her too that she couldn't be starting at any better time. And really that she will be, you know, getting into a huge time of momentum by getting started now. Any other questions? Thanks.
I have a little question. I just recently, I have a little 9-month-old here with me.
Okay.
And I help my boyfriend run a ranch.
Okay.
So it's a little hard for me to make it to some of these larger events and meetings that you guys have.
Okay.
Is there any tips to fix that or figure that out?
So are you talking about the nation meeting or the
Yeah, I'm kind of in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and all the events are really far away, so it's kind of hard for me to travel.
Okay. So, you know, if I have people on my team who come down from Cheyenne every month, and that's 2 hours. But, you know, it is, I know, can be harder than other times as well. If you can't make it to the meeting, you definitely want to plug in live via Zoom. And if you can be there, you know, do your best you can to be there. But if you can't be there, plug in via Zoom. If you can find someone to watch your kiddo, you know, just that one night a week, that's helpful. And you can kind of make that trip. But I understand that it's not always doable. But if you can, definitely it will pay off with your business, because there is something about the energy of being in that room as opposed to watching it over Zoom. But if that is your alternative and that you just can't make it, you know, definitely plug in and watch it live if you can. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hey, Brooke, I was just going to add to Jade. I don't know where she is, if she's in Colorado or if it's a different place.
I'm in the middle of Montana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there was anywhere, you know, nearby that you could plug in, but I will tell you, we have a team member, and this isn't a remote place, but in Dallas, and there's really nothing for her to plug into, so she's kind of creating her own things there. And then also, the same is going for somebody in a very small town in Mississippi that we have in our team, and she makes it an event at her house for people to come watch Nation at her house with her. So she'll, you know, in any given month, she'll have, you know, anywhere from 1 to like 5 people in her living room watching with her. So just some ideas. You could even make that like a live broadcast kind of an event in itself.
That is a great suggestion, Brooke. So yeah, you could, you know, I always tell people if they are in an area where there's not much around, just think like you could be the Tara Brandsma of your area. So, you know, you could have a huge team all around your area. So definitely, you know, have events just like Brooke said, and invite people to your house to watch Zoom.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, thank you, everyone. So we're about a week out. There is tons of Arbonne time left. So like I said, revisit those goals that you set out for at the beginning of the month. Every single one of them is still attainable. I know we're going to have more people going to call for area, regardless of where your numbers are at. That is still doable. You can join us in Vail. And as you're making those calls, as you're making those reach outs, make sure that you're asking people to nation even now. I know it's going to be a rocking recognition. I feel some huge momentum coming on with all the holidays. But, you know, don't let yourself off on the goals you set for the beginning of the month. So I believe in every single one of you. You absolutely can achieve anything you set your mind to. So make this last week awesome and go after it. So
Thanks.
bye, everyone.
Bye, Silly Jane.
Bye, Silly Jane.